Something that will always fascinate me is the pre-release info of Nintendo games. You know, as a company that keeps their development of AAA games very secret, it's really interesting to see what could have been. Believe it or not, way back then they were much more keen on showing more of their early prototypes, the N64. This is an era of Nintendo I feel like we know so much more about behind those closed doors, and it's awesome. We have a ton of footage and screenshots of early prototypes for Zelda 64, Mother 3, Mario Kart 64, and Super Mario 64. Apparently it was going to be a very different looking game, using a lot more darker colors for its environments, and almost everything graphically and sound-wise was just different. I won't go too deep into it, but I honestly feel like we know so much about the beta content of this game, and yet so little. It's weird, because remember that huge Nintendo Giga Leak in 2020 when we saw that we had actual proof of Luigi being playable in the game? We also got evidence of an entirely unused enemy that we just never knew about. No shred of talk from one of the developers, just this leak giving us the model and textures. If it weren't for this leak, we would have no idea of his existence. And that's honestly amazing, because that made me realize we truly don't know everything there is to know about Super Mario 64. Okay, so that kind of leads me to this ROM hack called B3313, also known as SM64 Internal Plexus, created by Christopher Rios Lillo and his dev team. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. That title may sound confusing, but I'll explain later. Basically, this hack caught my attention a few days ago, and as I started playing more, I knew I wanted to make a video on it, because it's really damn interesting. So yeah, after making a nearly hour-long video on Mario, how about another Mario video, on a ROM hack nonetheless, but trust me, it's really something else. Stick around. First thing you'll notice when jumping in is that, well, this is obviously the SM64 beta. The HUD has changed, Mario sounds completely different, the textures for coins and enemies are different, but you'll notice something is a little off because there's an entire back section to Peach's castle, separate from the actual courtyard too. Now, this is really damn cool to me because Mario 64 was meant to have a back section you could explore in this little starting area at one point. Looking at these eerie patent files for Peach's castle, you were able to go back there, so that's interesting to see it brought to life here. You might also notice you could play as Beta Luigi, which is awesome, uses the same model from the leak too. Well, I'm obviously going to be playing as him. Alright, so what the hell is B3313? Well, it's honestly really hard to explain. Okay, so essentially it's an expansion of Super Mario 64 that features tons of beta-esque levels. Some of them are actually levels from beta footage, some of them vary the layouts of existing stages, some are borderline test stages, and some are just completely original. But they all fall in the same vein of SM64 beta-like levels, you know? But the real catch here is the absolutely confusing progressive nature of the game. There are dozens upon dozens of levels and dozens upon dozens of rooms in Peach's castle. Like, seriously, this game is freaking enormous, and trying to explore levels in a somewhat linear progression is a very futile effort. It's said that this game has about 130 areas and between possibly 140 to 150 stars? Yeah, we don't even know, that's the thing. The game expects you to just get stars on a whim. You enter a level, get a star, and then leave. And then you just get lost exploring anywhere you want, until you get another random star. You're basically meant to get lost in this game. Most of the fun though comes from discovering interesting looking levels and weird and eerie things that may stand out. At some point, this game feels like a maze, and as such, many people who play it describe it as a fever dream. And that is probably the best way to describe it. I think the biggest contributor to that aspect is that all of these levels and rooms in the castle have almost nonsensical level design, while still keeping with that SM64 beta-esque authenticity, I guess. It feels like you're traveling through worlds of Mario 64 that never really existed, but they definitely could have at one point. And that is a really interesting concept. And yeah, at this point, if what I said intrigued you about this game, please go give it a try before watching the rest of the video. Yeah, I'm serious. Trust me, there's gonna be some really cool things you can discover if you play blindly, and playing blindly is the best way to play. That feeling of discovery on your own is absolutely unmatched. The reason I say this is because for the rest of the video, I'm gonna be kind of talking more in depth about the things that I encountered in this game. And that kind of spoils the surprise for a lot of this hack's content, but if you're okay with that, then well, let's go. Alright, so let me say this. As I started playing more and more of this very confusing and maze-like hack, I slowly started to realize the concept of this game is literally the exact same as LSD Dream Emulator. So in that game, you didn't have any real goals. You were meant to explore these weird dream areas and find weird stuff, like these strange animals or people floating around or whatever. You basically went from one area to the next, and it felt like a fever dream with the amount of abnormal scenarios you could encounter. That's basically what B3313 is going for. It's like the SM64 version of that game, literally, and I gotta be honest, they nailed that concept actually perfectly in my opinion. Like, I'm not even joking, down to the level design and structure especially. Something I noticed with how the stages are laid out is that they all feel very empty, like they're just missing stuff, be it either enemies, NPCs, coins, who knows, or they have very nonsensical design in general. Like, it just feels like stuff is placed there for no reason. Like, why is this star all the way over here, or why is there a freaking piranha plant statue placed here? What's even the point of it? This is like the exact same vibe I would get from seeing like the weird sun door in LSD. It's amazing. The levels also feel AI generated at that point too. Actually, the internal plexus term that I mentioned earlier, that apparently means AI generated areas or whatever, according to this wiki page at least. And yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe the level design. I especially love it when they combine different elements from existing stages of the original SM64 and put them in these very strange, unfamiliar scenarios, like this little level right here, starting out with the beginning of the Vanish Cap stage, okay, but then just throws that all out soon enough. Or this one that's like a Big Boo's Haunt version of Princess's Secret Slide. Dude, I don't even know what this is, but it's awesome. And some stages are definitely more interesting than others. I really got more of a kick out of the ones that actually had more landscapes, you know? Sometimes I would look at a painting and just say, what could this even be? And dude, it's like, wow, this stage is actually cool as hell looking. Holy crap. These were the types of levels that drove me forward to play more of this game. I was always just so enamored by digging further and further into what could be in store for me. You could explore for hours and not even realize it. But then every time I would die or exit the stage, I would be like, no, dude, I want to go back there. Because this game is a frickin' maze, so there's no real way to get back to where you want to go, unless you have a really good mental map of things. It's that kind of structure that makes playing this all the more special. Oh my god, okay, so I love this particular level. It's basically a beta version of Bob-omb Battlefield, and it's like so freaking cool looking. I mean, look at that skybox, dude. Fun fact, the reason this level has a river running through the stage is because that concept is actually based off the fact that Miyamoto said that the early version of B.O.B. had a river running through the little valley at one point. So essentially, this game basically brought that potential unused idea back to life, and I find that so cool. Okay, one more. This one is actually really sick. It's this huge, weird, flat, open space with a bunch of buildings that are taken from Wet Dry World and Rainbow Ride even for some reason. It gives off this very elusive, lonely, almost like a hypnotic feeling. I don't even know, dude. Like, no one's living here anymore. They just all vanish for some reason. The music too, man, it sells that vibe perfectly. Exploring this area gave me the exact same feeling I had when I first explored the Darktown area in LSD Dream Emulator. It's so sick. I suppose in general a good way to describe a lot of these levels would be liminal spaces, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't originally gonna bring up that word in this video, but I guess if you know what that means, then yeah, that's a good way to describe most of this game. Yeah.
This is luminous spaces.
And then there's Peach's castle. Man, it is actually a maze. You'll be exploring these strange rooms with tons of doors that lead to more rooms with tons of doors, and it's just like, what the hell? There's more of this? I feel like I'm losing my mind. I swear to God, you could explore this castle for hours and still find new rooms you haven't seen before. I swear to you, I have never seen this many areas in one single SM64 ROM hack. How is this even possible? This literally blows my mind. Again, you're bound to find some completely nonsense rooms. One time I just found a hallways that literally led to nothing. That's how you know this game is losing its mind too. I don't know, the thing is, I can't really go in depth and specifically explain what you can find. It's insane. But that is definitely where the magic of this hack truly shines. This castle isn't just pure chaos, there's actually consistency in which doors will lead you to which rooms, to the point where one person online even made a map, and it's absolutely impossible to understand. But you're meant to get lost. That's the entire point. This map isn't even helpful to begin with. Eventually, if you just go through random paintings and stuff, you'll just somehow end up in the real castle. And like, damn dude, it's such a weird breath of fresh air from like all the limbo world you were in. But obviously it doesn't last for long because what the fuck is this? I gotta say, the way these rooms are laid out almost feel like you've had a dream about them once. Like, you ever have dreams of playing Mario 64 and exploring areas of the castle you've never been in? I know one person has. Personally, I never really have those dreams, surprisingly, despite the amount of SM64 I play. But I did used to fantasize a lot about what could be on the other side, you know what I mean? In the original, there's this locked door right in the middle of the foyer, and as a kid, I always just wondered what was even on the other side. I was playing on a file with 17 stars, I specifically remember, and I wasn't good enough at the game to get any more. So this door just always came off to me as totally foreign and full of mystery. I remember I would try to angle the camera to somehow clip through and see what was in there, as if that would help. I even always envisioned that actually entering would lead to some weird small checkerboard room where the final boss would lie. Bowser would be there holding Peach for some reason. Of course, eventually, when I found out that there was an entire second floor to Peach's castle, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe there was actually more to this game. And my point here is that B3313 makes those fantasies come to life. This castle may as well have hundreds of rooms. It may as well be never ending. You're always left with feelings of dread as you explore deeper and deeper. You never know what else you could find. It doesn't have to be the castle. It could also be entirely new sub-areas, like this internal sewer system. Eventually, the game might start actually switching the layouts of certain rooms right as you play, catching you totally off guard. Like, what the hell just happened there? It's like the game is changing its code in real time. It's this room right here. Apparently this room has like 4 variations. Each one has different paintings that lead to different variations of the same concept of that level. You may not even realize you're in a different version of this same room. And it's at that point right there that I realized this game literally plays mind tricks on you. One time in a level I still had my hat on, but when I left I just didn't have it anymore. Okay, bye bye hat. I don't know where it went. Literally for the rest of my playthrough I just didn't have it on because I couldn't even find it again. Okay, so I'm about to hit this block to get this star, okay, and okay, sure, we'll just have that happen. Okay, so I'm just riding the shelf, so that's cool, okay, and what? Okay, so we're just switching the entire level for no reason? Why? Okay, what the fuck is happening here? It's stuff like this that also makes you feel like you're losing your own mind. I'm pretty sure there was a point where I had like 12 stars, and the thing is, I didn't even believe that I already had that many, just because of how insane this game can truly get. The best part is that as I looked back at the footage, I actually did get that many. The star count didn't lie to me. Yeah, that's crazy. The fact that you can easily misinterpret something the game didn't do because you blended that in for what the game actually does to play tricks on you, it's really crazy. This game somehow makes you feel like you're making no progress whatsoever. I somehow ended this playthrough with 64 stars, and still I don't even believe that. For the entire ride, I've just felt like I've been aimlessly running through these rooms and levels with no goal. Like, what the hell, dude? It's insane. I talked about how the concept of B3313 is similar to that of LSD Dream Emulator, but it's less so about the weird people you may encounter, it's more so about the environment, and I think that's fitting for a game like Super Mario 64, a game that already had so many environmental mysteries to begin with. I know we've always wondered what Wet Dry World could even be, who lived in the underwater town, why is there this magical blue portal on the other side of this door, like, what's it doing in Peach's castle? Again, B3313 expands those feelings you had in the original and takes them to a far greater height. But even then, sometimes you can encounter some of those weird LSD-like oddities. It's to a point where this game actually just creeps you out. Sometimes it could be unsettling dialogue from text boxes. Can you hear the distant screams? I do. Okay, Toad, I don't know what's up with you, dude. Or it's stuff like falling into Bowser's trap, but then you don't get warp and instead land on what looks like blood. No explanation. Or just other very weird figures you can see barely in the distance. And as you get closer, boom, the game just says fuck you. What even was that? Oh great, now I'm back here. God damn it. One thing I really love about how this stuff is handled is that it isn't really shoved in your face. These things you can encounter are very scarce. You will have to do some good digging if you want to find these things. And that's another huge part that drove me further and further to explore more. The good thing is that the game isn't all just like, just put some enormous lore dump text on you. No, it's just unsettling little text blurbs that don't have any meaning or have very vague meanings, you know? It's handled excellently, honestly. So yeah, B3313, playing this hack literally gave me the exact same feelings of discovery I got when playing LSD Dream Emulator, and that's honestly amazing because, like, when I played LSD, I was always playing a little every day, you know? I was so eager to find out what other weird-ass stuff I could find in that game, like the Gray Man, or what's the point of this person in bed, what are they doing? And because of that, I originally thought no other game could replicate such an experience like that. But who knew, because this SM64 ROM hack literally just did that, and did it perfectly. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Though you might be thinking, is there even an ending to this game? Well, that's kind of a hard question to answer, because amidst all the chaos, there isn't any true goal, right? Actually, yes, there sort of is an ending. If you can reach the end of this maze that is Peach's huge disorienting castle, then you are rewarded with something. And I'm not gonna say what it is, because I feel like ruining the mystery would be a huge disservice to this hack in general. Although I wouldn't really consider it an official ending in my books, it's something. But let me tell you, the journey there is honestly so rewarding. Discovering the way out on your own, damn, it's like frickin' cathartic at that point. But yeah, in conclusion, B3313 is a one-of-a-kind hack. It's a one-of-a-kind experience. It's geniusly crafted in almost every aspect. I think the creator did such a good job balancing out everything in this hack, you know? It balanced out those weird encounters from slightly eerie to actually scaring you. It balanced out Peach's castle being a total maze while still having some consistency consistency in its map. The level design had a perfect balance of nonsensical emptiness and actual cool looking stages. I don't know, it's really hard to describe this hack in full. I could probably go on for hours unscripted talking about the things this game has to offer, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I feel like I've talked enough. If you've gotten this far and you still haven't played B3313, please go give it a try. I don't care if you spoiled yourself on some of it. You might even find some stuff I didn't find in my own time. I probably haven't even seen like half of this game, knowing the scope of it all. It's really fascinating to find these things blind, and as such, it's really cool to see other people find things for their first time. And at that point, you can so obviously tell the creator and his dev team put so much effort into this. It is so worth your time if you're interested in the idea of SM64 beta stuff, and I guess also the personalization copy thing, whatever. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. This hack also kind of plays on that idea. I really didn't want to mention it, but yeah. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this sort of shorter video. Well, it was still kind of long. Okay, think of it as a little break from longer stuff I usually do. Coming up with this idea was very spontaneous, gotta say, and honestly it was very difficult to express my thoughts about this game. But yeah, in the end, I just really wanted to tell you about this hack. I really like Mario 64, okay? So anyways, I'll see you next time in a bigger video. Bye!